Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Kawasco, and Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know, we're going to do a little time travel back to the wonderful sounds of season 2 of the Marvel Movie Minute.
I heard that show.
I've heard that show too. It's actually not bad. Their hosts are handsome and eloquent, but
amazing.
I digress. I'm specifically talking about minute 40 of Louis Leterrier's Incredible Hulk.
Minute 40. Let's see. I think Bruce Banner's probably on campus at that point.
Yes, he is. You are right.
I don't know. He's stalking his ex, but I'm not sure what it is he's doing.
This is the area of the movie where he used a pizza to gain access to highly sensitive information on a
okay, so we're
campus.
post Ferrigno.
Yeah, yes, I think yes, that's correct. Yeah, 40 minutes in, yes, stuff happening. Yeah. We've gone through all of his trials and tribulations coming out of Brazil, and so if you remember this title of this episode, it was "Encrypt Your Important Things with Passwords."
Yes.
So we did a deep dive back. And we're both technology nerds. We kind of know enough to make us very dangerous about this stuff. Mm-hmm. But, when you talk about encryption, something you have important, you want to encrypt it. You're using an algorithm to sort of reconstruct it so that it is not, reconstructible by people who don't have access to the algorithm or key. And usually we talk about encryption in terms of bits. Is there 64-bit encryption or 128-bit? And today, the standard for the most part is 256-bit encryption. Mm-hmm. Wasn't like that 10 years ago, but today, that's what it's pretty much considered. And sometimes when you hear 256-bit encryption, it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. Sometimes even those 256-bit, in quotes, really only rises to the security of 128 bits. And what are we all talking about in bits? It's sort of an exponential way of the algorithm working to encode stuff. And that is a very simplified explanation for that. But that's pretty much how it works. Now, using today's technology, would it be possible to break a 256-bit encrypted algorithm? It would take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of computers if it was a correctly configured 256-bit encrypted system. And with that, we'll talk about this in this minute.
That's right, because here we are talking about the very unsecured minute 51 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, directed by Mr. Jon Favreau. We're picking up where we left off, which is Justin Hammer is giving Ivan a tour of his facility. Now, there's a little bit of a timeline stuff we'll talk about too. Like, I'm not exactly sure how long it's been since the last one to this one, but we'll get until when we jump forward to talk about it a little bit. But we're aware that I'm not exactly sure how far it's been since he got out of prison until
since
now.
The prison breakout.
Yeah,
right.
But we'll figure that out. But as they're going through doing the tour, Justin is still sort of bragging on his all of his new stuff and showing off his new toys. He says. And he's showing off, and now we see, it was getting to what was he showing, and now we actually get to see that it's suits. So the first suit we saw in the video that Justin showed, or that Tony showed against Justin's better wishes at the Senate hearings, I guess if we call those version 1, these look like version 2, because if you look at them closely, they don't have that waist articulation thing anymore.
Right, exactly.
So Justin and his people, and I think as we're learning also in this minute, Justin is not a very hands-on tech person. Like we see Tony all the time, like in the thing in his lab or in a cave or in his workshop, sleeves rolled up, grease under his fingers, like really digging in and doing stuff. I don't think Justin does that. I don't think that he's quite the hands-on type of person. I think he would be the one who would design the wireframe and then just send it off to the guys to actually put it together. And then come check it out,
I listen, as much as I love me some Justin, you are being extraordinarily kind based on the Justin Hammer that is revealed to us in this minute. Because here's who Justin Hammer is based on this. He's the guy who writes the check and talks about how great everything is. That's what you clearly see here is as this conversation goes on, they walk up and you see what looks like to be pairs of these suits.
Yeah.
It looks like there's about maybe 8 rows. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like maybe there's anywhere from 14 to 20 suits here. And he's talking about immediately about, okay, well, as Ivan walks up to the first terminal that's connected to the first suit, he says, oh, we'll get you some encrypted passcodes.
Right.
He doesn't know what he's talking about at all.
No, but there's the sign on there too. I'm sure he knows the security configuration they have set up, but
he knows it needs a password.
Yeah. So you talked about in the top about 256-bit encryption. So I didn't know exactly what that really meant. So I did a little digging in it too.
Oh yeah.
And so it says a hacker or cracker, as they're never called, will require 2 to the power of 256 different combinations to break that. And so I'm like, how big is that number? So to find the one key that needs to get through, that's 1 in over 115 quattroturovintillion.
Exponential.
Yes, that is okay. So like, if you think of it like 100,000 is a 6-digit number. Well, that is a 78-digit number.
Yeah.
That's one number you're picking out of all those things. So yes, as we're finding, it's much. What I've heard from the hacking community is it's much easier to hack a person than a 256-bit encryption. And I think that's what we see here is that because so obviously this is all speculation stuff too. But as we're both nerds and we get into stuff, and I who have admin access at all the places that I work, he doesn't break the encryption. He drops to the shell and figures out how to log in as an administrator, and then basically just like it looks like he just puts the last password that was it, like the last thing that was logged in, because he logs in as administrator.
Right.
So that was the way he got. So it wasn't like Ivan is such a good hacker that he gets past 256. Like whoever designed like the screens, because obviously this isn't a screenwriting thing and this isn't an acting thing. Like basically Mickey Rourke just walks up to a blank screen and just types on the computer. But like the person who put all this stuff together kind of knew what they were doing, because you see him bring up the shell and like start basically. Let's say I'm getting super nerdy. So when you run Windows, you're running a program. Like even though it boots up when you come in there, when you run in Mac OS, the same thing. That is still on top. Underneath is code, and that sometimes that code is just writing commands. And so like even Windows right now, you can still drop to DOS. The disk operating system really was. When we first started computing, we had to run Windows. Like it would, like when it came up, it would be C prompt / and then you'd have to like type in what you want to. You could windows.exe and launch Windows. But now it's become the default, this graphical interface. But underneath all that stuff, it's still code. And so it looks like Justin figured out now it looks like I even figured out like, that he's running Linux or he's running whatever it is, like whatever proprietary system. He's like, I can bet you I can just bring up a shell commands, and boom, he does. And like, he probably has some quick hacks to get into any of that kind of stuff. And just like, probably like, what was the last person that logged in? Oh, administrator. All right, there you go. And then he just like copy pastes over into there, and then in he goes. It's easier to hack a person than it is to hack.
Right. No, it's pretty simple. And what's nice is I like about this is that, in the screens where I got the 256-bit is that if you actually look at the screen, it says Hammer Advanced Weapon Systems 256-bit encryption.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about this is that, again, here you have Justin, just talking up with words, making stuff up that he just knows that it's super secure and he needs encrypted stuff to get to it. He doesn't understand how any of this works. And that's made obvious here in this moment, because boom, Ivan goes right in. And by the way, Mickey Rourke does a great job. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Like I know when you say like he's probably looking at a blank screen. Yeah. He's doing a great job.
Which is a compliment. Like I'm
absolutely.
Because like we talked about Edward Norton too, blank screen acting is not easy.
No, he's got the cool glasses on and he goes right up to it. He's got swagger. He's not just blowing on a keyboard like like people sometimes go up to a piano. No, there's some intent with what he's doing. Yeah, like it's completely believable what's happening here. But I just love Sam Rockwell just sells this revealing of his ignorance of all this.
You don't need to, okay, you're already in the system. You're already looking at my stuff. And so the super hacker part of it is, first of all, he's a physicist. I don't know how, like, all of a sudden he knows how to hack into systems, but okay, fine. Like,
smart people can figure things out.
People get their GEDs in college. Maybe he learned how to hack when he was in prison, but I also like the fact that this makes it look like Justin bought off the shelf encrypted software.
Oh, absolutely.
Like basically he's just running like and they just basically just change the fonts and or
that it says or here's the other thing. you heard about 256-bit encryption, and he said, "Hey, can somebody make it say that on the front of it?" Like, real. That's what I got out of that. Like, especially looking at this and seeing it there, nice. Yeah, this is just like all show. That's all it is. Yeah. Damn.
So as he's going through, so that then the super hacker part comes in when Ivan can then brings up the software that runs all of Justin's suits and can look through it and easily see that it's terrible. So he that's wow, that's fast. I mean, like I know a little bit of HTML and I can look at it, but I can't look at a website's HTML code and go, "Oh, your website's terrible."
Oh, back in the day, I think I could. Back in the day, I think no, not today, but like back in the day, you'd look at something and go, "Wow, you know, something that like I don't know, one of the early WYSIWYG editors would like spit out, and you'd look at it and just go, "This is garbage. What are you doing?"
So many switches,
right?
But that's the superhero part. That's why he's the supervillain, is because he can look at that stuff and instantly know that it's garbage. Or maybe he doesn't, and he's just taking a shot because, as he says, it's garbage. That he's allowed to rewrite the whole thing, which is what he wants all the way along. Either way. Smart move. He says something Russian. Could not find what it was. Every place I found the translations just says unintelligible. So he said something unintelligible. And so that's when he says how he feels about the software, which I don't think we can say in here without keeping our PG rating.
It's a word for feces. I think you all know. So it rhymes. It's an alliteration. It begins with an S. It follows software. That's
all
enough.
Do it.
There we go.
So as Justin is then looking over his shoulder as Ivan is getting into the system and going through all of his stuff, and you're just saying, "Well, you're good. You really blasted in past the firewall there."
Yeah.
I'm like, he kind of bypassed the firewall.
Well, no, see, and this is another example of knowing Justin doesn't understand any of this. He's heard the word firewall. He knows that it's something important and has to do with security.
He probably has that keychain that gives him what his password is at the time, and he just enters that in. And I bet you in his office somewhere there's a Post-it note with his login information with his password, probably on the bottom of his keyboard. And I bet a dozen people in our audience just went, like, "No, yeah, when you're a site tech working the thing and you go,
you see stuff like that."
I see it all the time.
You totally see it. No, I mean, no, this is again, and and it's interesting to see the character, how he keeps his cool. And he's kind of laughing. There's a little bit of that nervous laughter, like, well, yeah, okay. Like, he's not giving any of it up because, well, and plus he can't because he knows that he got the right guy, which is what we're going to hear.
Yeah, true. So he's trying to get to move them along. Like, he's like, "Let me show you we're going to be working," and Ivan just ignores him and then just goes and starts walking up and gets on the ladder or the stairs and moves in front of it. But as he's going, I sort of stopped and take a look. Now, we're not big costume people. Like, we're not fashionistas, so we don't talk about the costuming a lot. But I look at his costume and I start thinking about the story and go, all right, he's supposed to be dead. So Ivan's not going out shopping. So let's assume Justin has a personal shopper. So Justin had to like get his dimensions and then send the person out to bring him clothes. So these were presumably picked by someone else. But where did the beads come from? Like, well, he came with nothing. Let's remember that he came in his prison outfit. Like, he's supposed to be dead. So all of his stuff is gone.
Well, no, he had the beads. Remember, he was using the beads when they opened the doors in the airplane hanger. When he gets broken out of prison, yes, he was like fiddling with them or meditating or prayer or whatever he was doing. So he I think that's actually part of his thing. Like, he's kept those somehow.
Okay.
The rest of so and when you look at them and all we can really see is they look to be some sort of like turquoise, maybe some sort of like element that's in bead form around a bracelet. It's fairly large. But like the rest of his outfit, I mean, this totally fits with him. The blue jeans and like the skin tight blue hoodie, like. That all fits. That fits the character. What I think, though, is interesting is you've broken this guy out of prison. Clearly, he is a global criminal.
Yes.
You would think they would have tried to change his appearance.
Yeah.
No attempt has been made.
No.
To change his appearance.
Like, he has a very distinctive look, and he retains that very distinctive look. Like, not even a haircut. Like that.
Well, he's got glasses. Does have glasses.
He does have glasses now. So that's the she's all that disguise, right?
Right.
Because like he pulls those off, and my God, he's beautiful.
What happened? No, that's interesting. Okay, so as he goes up on the ladder, we get some really good looks, obviously, of these suits. So very clearly influenced by Iron Man.
Yep. And so presumably these are the Justin Hammer version of the Iron Man suit. So each of these is designed to have a person inside them.
Right.
And obviously they're gray, but they're basically Bondo colored. I mean, they're stock. Right. So they don't have a distinctive look, which really goes to show still too. Like Justin has got the idea, but not the style.
Well, there's no branding, right? Like there's no branding and stuff. And the other thing I think you get from this is that clearly right off the bat, he is after quantity.
Yes.
This is all about, we're trying to outfit.
One Iron Man suit?
No, I want
20 Hammer suits.
Exactly. So, I mean, and in his mind, quantity is better. That obviously all that implies.
Yeah, because he even says, like, I may have done a few miscalculations and rushed the prototype into production. Yeah, like, I remember what the last prototype problem you have. Isn't the guy? He lived. The guy lived. Yeah, the pilot lived.
Not going to work out.
So then we see Ivan gets up and gets really close up, and he's examining it closely, and so Justin is still sort of nattering on, trying to remain like he's actually in control of the situation.
Exactly.
That's something, isn't it? He's like, those are really just for show and tell. Like, he doesn't really want him touching. They're 125.7 million, and that's where the minute ends.
I know, that's all we get. So as we know, this is in a SpaceX warehouse facility where this was filmed.
Yep.
Everything around this area is probably exactly as is. Like, I don't think they've done anything. So we see all this fabricating equipment, all these other things, but all they've really had to do in terms of the set is just this area where the suits are and the apparatuses that are holding them up and all of that. Probably one of the easiest set pieces ever.
Yeah, they just the lighting roll in the set.
Yeah, I mean, you probably got industrial lighting that's blowing the whole place out with white light. Like,
huge, tall ceilings and really wide, deep. I mean, getting to use SpaceX really added a lot of production value to it.
No, absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely. You totally nailed that.
While it looks great, it also is the antithesis of Stark, because like everything he's doing is in a very intimate, well lit
workshop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in his garage, essentially, he's doing all these things.
No, you can definitely get that. And then we also, should mention between Justin and Ivan, we've also got Jack.
Yes,
Jack is the
Jack
indelible.
Gets to be the major domo going along. Like, how great for him! I thought he was really in that one scene, and then I'm like, oh no, he's like the personal assistant. Like,
no, Jack's the assistant. He was there to get the encrypted passcodes, but it was too slow. So interesting. I love one of the things I really do love about this that we will talk far in the future here. Mm-hmm. So you'll be sticking with us. I love how these suits evolve, and seeing them here. Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
This is kind of neat to see that, yes, they are so generic, so indescript, so much more. They look like a bulkier, inelegant version of Iron Man.
Yes.
And I think that that's important. And plus, you've got like hoses. There's 2 hoses coming out of each one. It just looks like they are so not what Iron Man is, right? This is just literally a cheap knockoff of what Iron Man is. And I think that's really also a part of how the set really does try to advance that story, that not only do we understand Justin as he's kind of faking it, but also even his product is more, this is literally all just a facade.
I guess. And if you like a beautiful facade, then maybe you'd like Instagram.
Oh.
Because it's all about pretty pictures and not really much about anything else. And that's what makes it perfect. And that's why we are there. We are over on Instagram at the next reel.
But Kyle, I just want to say, as much as Instagram is all about the visual, there is also meaning and the story. Instagram is not just skin deep.
Oh, well, right? I guess me and the listeners will need to go into our Instagram and dig much deeper to find the substance that's buried beneath the pretty veneer. Homework
Perfect.
for y'all. So make sure you're back here for minute 52 when we find out what's the end of that sentence, and also what's going to happen with the examination that Ivan is giving to these robots. Will they pass up to his standards? Well, you need to stay subscribed to find out. Enough said.
Bye.